Hey there everyone, Ramesh here back again with another video. In today's video we are going to talk about something super useful, 10 common mistakes people make while using ChatGPT and how you can avoid them. If you have ever felt like ChatGPT did not give you the right answer, it might be because of the way you ask your question. Stay tuned because by end of this video you will learn how to get better responses and save time when using ChatGPT. Let us dive in. So let us log into ChatGPT. So here I am using ChatGPT Plus, that is paid version, but these mistakes can applicable to both free version of ChatGPT as well as paid version of ChatGPT. So the first mistake is asking very short or unclear questions. For example, here let us enter the prompt explain AI. So when you ask ChatGPT something unclear like this, it won't know exactly what you want. It might give a general response that's too broad or not useful enough. So instead of saying this kind of short answer, what you can do is you can say, can you explain AI in simple terms for a beginner who has no technical background? Alright, so this prompt tells ChatGPT exactly what kind of explanation you need, making the answer clear and more helpful. For example, if I submit this prompt, the ChatGPT gives a proper explanation in simple terms. You can see here AI stands for artificial intelligence and then examples. So this is a common mistake people do. Don't ask very short or unclear questions. So mention everything in the prompt so that ChatGPT can answer your question properly. The second mistake is not providing enough context. For example, instead of saying like this, what is the solution to this problem? Well, if you don't provide enough details about the problem, ChatGPT won't understand what you are asking. So instead of saying this, what you can do is you can say, I have a problem with my Python code where I am trying to print a list, but it shows an error. Here is the code and just paste code here and then say, so I am going to just add here paste code and then followed by you can ask what could be the wrong. So this prompt looks good, right? So by adding context, ChatGPT can give you more accurate and specific answer. So whenever you have an error in your code, you can just write prompt like this. So you can say I have problem with this code where I am trying to print the list but it shows error, and just paste the code and ask question like what could be the wrong, like this. Alright, so whenever you ask something to the ChatGPT, make sure to provide the enough context so that ChatGPT can provide you the more accurate and specific answer. Next mistake is overloading the prompt with too much information. For example, if you enter the prompt like this, so this kind of overloaded prompt can confuse ChatGPT and the answer may become too long or disorganized. So instead of asking the question like this, what you can do is you can ask one question at a time to the ChatGPT. For example, you can ask one question at a time, like explain the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning in simple terms. So breaking down your questions into smaller parts will help ChatGPT give you more focused and understandable answers. Okay, so whenever you want to ask something to the ChatGPT, don't include too many questions in the single prompt. Just divide the prompt into smaller parts and ask accordingly so that you will get a proper answer from the ChatGPT. Next mistake is using ambiguous language. For example, don't ask something like this, what do you mean by that? So if your question refers to something unclear without clarity, ChatGPT might not know what you are asking about. So instead of asking like this, you can ask, in your previous answer, you mentioned neural networks. Can you explain what neural networks are in simple terms? So this prompt is clear and tells ChatGPT exactly what you want to learn more about. So whenever you want to refer to the previous answer, and if you want to know something from the previous answer, you can just enter the prompt like this. Okay, just don't mention like this. What do you mean by that? Because this doesn't tell ChatGPT what you are looking for. So mention the prompt properly like this. Okay. The next mistake is ignoring the use of step-by-step request. For example, instead of asking like this, how do I create a website? So this prompt or this question is too broad and the answer might miss important steps. Okay, so instead of asking like this, you can ask, can you give me a step-by-step guide on how to create a simple HTML website with a home page and a context page? So by asking for a step-by-step guide, you get a more structured and actionable answer. For example, if we submit this prompt to the ChatGPT, so ChatGPT will give you the step-by-step guide to create a simple HTML website with a home page and contact page. Okay, look at here the response. Step-by-step guide. Okay, so whenever you want to ask how to questions, then make sure to provide the step-by-step guide in the prompt so that you don't miss any steps from the ChatGPT. This is awesome. Next mistake is not specifying the output format. For example, instead of saying like this, summarize this article. So if you don't specify how you want the summary, the answer may not fit your needs. So instead of saying like this, you can just say summarize this article in 3 bullet points like this. So just specify whatever the format that you want the output in the prompt like this. So this prompt gives ChatGPT clear instructions on the format of the output, making the response easier to use. So if you want the summary of the article in table, you can mention table like this. Okay, so make sure to specify the output format in the prompt whenever you want summary from the ChatGPT. Next mistake is asking multiple unrelated questions in a one prompt. For example, if you ask multiple questions, unrelated questions in a one prompt like this, like what is Java, also what's the weather in Delhi today, and can you suggest some good books on leadership? So these are the multiple unrelated questions in a one prompt, right? So this prompt covers too many unrelated topics which can confuse ChatGPT. So instead of asking like this, you can ask what is Java and what are its key features. So stick with the one topic per prompt to get the clear and relevant answers. If you have multiple questions, ask them separately. Next mistake is not reviewing and refining the prompt. For example, if you ask ChatGPT something like this, tell me about history. So this prompt is too broad and could lead to answer that's too general. So instead of asking like this, you can say, can you tell me about the history of the internet and how it changed communication? So reviewing your prompt before sending ensures it's specific and well structured. So whenever you enter the prompt to the ChatGPT, make sure to review it. Okay, so if you type something like tell me about history, you will get the answer too general. Ask specific question like this and review it before submitting prompt to the ChatGPT. Next mistake is expecting ChatGPT to do everything perfectly. Well, for example, if you ask something like this, write a perfect essay on climate change. So expecting a perfect answer without providing the direction may not give you the best results. So instead of asking like this, you can ask, write a 500 word essay on climate change covering causes, effects and solutions. Use simple language for high school student. So when you set the clear expectation, ChatGPT can provide a more suitable response. Okay, so if you want to expect the perfect answer from the ChatGPT, then make sure to provide the proper prompt to the ChatGPT, and the prompt should include everything like what you need to have in the response, like climate change covering causes, effects, solutions, and whom you are targeting the content, like the high school students. So mention everything in the prompt so that ChatGPT can give you more accurate answer. Okay. Next mistake is forgetting to follow up for clarification. For example, if instead of asking like this answer isn't helpful. So if the initial response isn't helpful, simply stating this won't improve things. So instead of asking like this, you can ask, the answer did not cover a particular topic. Can you explain that part in more detail? So by giving feedback or asking for clarification, you can guide ChatGPT to provide the better responses. Okay, so if you are not clear with some specific topic in the previous answer, then you can just enter the prompt like this and you can ask more about that specific topic. Okay, so this is how you can have a follow-up questions to the previous answers. Let us quickly recap 10 mistakes to avoid. Don't ask unclear or short answers. Be specific. Always provide enough context. Avoid overloading your prompt with too much information. Use clear and unambiguous language. Ask for step-by-step instructions when needed. Specify the output format. Stick to one topic per prompt. Review and refine your prompt before sending. Set clear expectations for complex tasks. Follow up with feedback or clarification if needed. By following these tips, you will get better responses and save a lot of time.